Yeah.
What's up? What's up, Cory? How's it going? We got Cory Connors, host of Sustainable Packaging Podcast.
Good morning.
What's up, man? You are SPC. We're going to cover some sustainable coalition stuff. What you've seen, what you talked about. I'm going to get into it, but before we do that, too bad Adam's not here. We can't interrupt him. All right, man. So let us know. What are you doing in Seattle? What's going on? What have you seen?
It's been a great event. It was nice to be able to drive to an event for a change. Since I live in Portland, it's an easy couple-hour drive up here. And this will be day 3. The first day is just tours of local facilities related to sustainability. And I got to tour a waste management facility, or WM as they're now called. It was called Cascade. Incredible MRF, almost totally automated. I think they only had 6 people sorting, off the line, which is a lot fewer than I've seen in other facilities. And
were you able to take video?
What's that?
Were you able to take video?
A little bit, yeah. Mostly pictures. They kind of asked us to kind of limit video, especially of any people, which I thought was appropriate. And then some really excellent speakers talking about sustainability, talking about curbside recycling, talking about all different things in packaging that we can do differently and better. Today will be a heavy hitter day for EPR talks, and excited for those with Lorax EPI.
Wow. Hey, if you're watching or listening to this right now, do us a favor and comment with somebody that should be watching this in the packaging industry. We're going to put some effort into growing the show, and we really need your help to do it. Otherwise, getting up this early to do it, it's as much as we love talking to you guys, it makes it really difficult. So anything you guys can do to help support and grow the channel would be amazing.
I had a lot of positive feedback yesterday about this show, that people like this show. They want to hear Adam's jokes and Evelio's antithesis.
My negativity. Cool, man. All right, so let's go back to this MRF. So you went in. Tell me about it. Like what else? What did you see? Like, tell me the process. Like, what did people need to know about a MRF that maybe have not been to one?
I think the number one thing is consumers don't know what's recyclable through a MRF still. Lots of soft plastics end up in the recycle bin. And that's the number one thing they're pulling out because they don't have a recycle stream for that yet. Very, very conveniently, until those are all the same materials and mono material, it's a difficulty to recycle that. And what we did see is they actually recycle glass there. And that's pretty more rare, but becoming more common, which is good news.
Yeah, that's good. And glass used to be recycled quite a bit, and then I think just with the machinery that's been going on, it's kind of shifted the focus of paper. Chris Olson, thank you so much. Appreciate you adding some names on here. Again, growing the show is going to be super helpful. But with some of the machinery that it kind of shifted into with glass, you get breakage, you get glass spilling out of the machine. And there's like a lot of different things that happen there, and it makes it really difficult to actually process it. And then you've got different colors. You've got labels. It's a whole thing. It's not easy.
It's not easy for sure. They had dozens of optical sorters, all AI tech. That it's absolutely the future. All you heard in the process was these air puffs, shooting, selecting the material to push it over to get it into the proper bale. I was absolutely impressed. About 50% of what they recycle is corrugated. So that seems to be still the mainstay for the industry, and it has value. Whereas about 1% of what they recycle is aluminum. But they get the most money for that material. So they really concentrate on getting those cans out.
Yeah. The being negative, like the one thing, you know, too, is like when you're looking at a corrugated box that's getting recycled versus like an aluminum can, just the overall volume there can kind of help understand why that disparity is. It's not that they're not getting enough aluminum, it's just that a can makes up such a small amount compared to a box. So definitely recycle more of your aluminum, but yeah, that's where the value is. So all right, so you said there's like 6 people sorting. So that's not the front of the line, but it's where the process begins, right? That's where the stuff is coming through on the conveyor belt. What are those people pulling out? Like, what were they doing?
They were pulling out mostly soft plastics, mostly bags, and a lot of like water bottle shrink wrap sleeves. I saw. It was interesting.
Like that big shrink for the cases of water bottles.
Exactly. Yeah. The 12-pack or the 24-pack cover. On the tipping floor where the trucks come in and actually dump, I saw a couple things that were contaminants, like a garden hose, things like that. That were plastic. Really, they were causing a challenge to the drivers of the trucks that were putting the waste into a hopper to be sorted. It was crazy to watch.
Yeah, but that's again, that's the consumer. They like, oh, this is plastic. This is so much more material than a water bottle. Let me throw this in my recycle bin. I'm helping out.
Yeah. Things like they said the worst thing they get is batteries because they can cause fires.
Yep.
And Christmas lights.
Yeah. Again, people are like,
rollers, you know.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, there's good material in here. If they're even thinking that, otherwise they're just like, I'll just throw it in the wrong bin. It doesn't, you know, who cares? It's all consumers think everything goes to the same place.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately that's been the case in a lot of different cities. I know, like in New Jersey, it didn't really matter what bin you put it in. It all ended up in the landfill because they'd shut down the recycling centers. And it's hard for consumers to kind of get over that stuff, right? They hear it once on the news and they're like, oh, it does all go to the right place. It all goes in the same place. And that's a huge challenge we've got in the US.
I did find out that 3% of the EPR revenue will go to education for consumers. And I think that's really excellent news because I think that's where we're missing the point of all of this.
Yeah, and we're doing it here for free. They should kick that over this way.
Yeah, so if you're an EPR legislator and you need us to educate people, we're happy to do it.
Yeah, we'll take 2%. No, that's cool, man. So like, all right, so like you're in Oregon, you guys are ahead of the curve on EPR. Seeing what you saw at this MRF, like, what's the first step somebody should be doing? If you're on the design side, and what's the first step you should be doing if you're on the brand side?
Monomaterial focused, easily separated if it's not monomaterial for design. So if you're using multi-materials, make it really easy to pull apart or to shake apart as it goes down the table. I think that's
so like snap locks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I saw a ton of corrugated. I saw a ton of plastics. One of the people there was from a large beauty brand, and she asked, about beauty, makeup kinds of packaging. Are they getting recycled through MRF? And the answer is generally no.
Yeah.
It's too small.
Too many material. Yeah, it's too small, and then too many materials. Right. And that's a big challenge.
Which is kind of on those companies to create a send back program or an in-store drop off for credit. Incentivize the consumer to bring that material back so it can get recycled, because it can be recycled. It just needs to be collected correctly.
Not always.
Yeah.
Right. That's the challenge. Like, because it depends on the particular product. So like if it's like a paperboard makeup palette, like a Benefit Cosmetics type of a palette where you've got a laminated paper on the outside, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to be laminated because you're going to have oils, you're going to have makeup. You want to be able to wipe this thing off. It's going to be in your purse. Otherwise it'll absorb in the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need that. So you've got plastic laminate, you've got paper, you've got board, you've got a magnet in there. And then when you open that up, there's going to be a mirror in there. And then you've got aluminum pressed powder pans that are inside of that. So just in that tiny, small thing, you've got all these different materials.
Yep.
That each have different values. Mirror, for example, has 0 value. You can't recycle that. So you've got to be able to separate that. And now you've got to then remove the paper, because it's not going to be able to pulp properly if it's protected with plastic. And then you've got the magnet you've got to remove. I mean, those things become super complex, and I don't know that there's necessarily a machine to do that yet. So even if you collect this by the ton, separating it isn't necessarily worth the cost. I know I'm working with a brand right now, and they've got a ton of excess product and packaging. What's up? We got JQ joining us.
Hey, Jonathan. Good to see you yesterday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm working with a brand right now, and they've got a bunch of excess product from last year, and it's all paper. It's all paper products. They want to take that paper, and we're talking tens of tons of this stuff, and they want to take it and they want to recycle it. Well, and turn it back into packaging. Yeah, so it's like existing product, recycle it and use it for packaging, which is a great idea. I think all brands should be looking at ways to do that.
I love that.
But the cost to separate all of the different components to then be able to recycle it's not cheap, right? So all of a sudden the paper that you're getting out of this thing, the cost goes up because of the processes involved. And luckily this brand is definitely like it's worth the long story here and not putting the stuff in landfill. So that part's awesome.
Yes, which is why they need to design for separation or refill. I see a lot of makeup and beauty brands going into the refill space, which is brilliant because the refillable cartridge is much smaller and easier to recycle or dispose of if it's not recyclable. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So good stuff, man. So then, all right. So you've done that for 2 days. You've got another day today.
Yeah. Big day today. Excited to hear the team from Lorax, EPI talk about the next wave of EPR states in the US and globally that are coming on board. It's changing everything. This is the #1 topic at the show. It's EPR.
Wow. Excellent. All right. So as we wrap up here, if you've got any questions on EPR, you can check out Cory's podcast, Sustainable Packaging Podcast. You can check mine out, Packaging Unboxed, where we both kind of get into EPR with a few different people to get a couple.
Don't go to Adam. Don't go to Adam.
Yeah, don't go. He's not here. You won't know. But yeah, definitely check out People at Packaging Podcast as well. Like I said, do us a favor if you're enjoying watching this goofy show about packaging and sustainability. Comment with somebody that should be watching this show. Tag them. Again, we're trying to grow this thing and make it worth the time. As much fun as we have doing it, we definitely want to grow this and turn this into something.
We appreciate it.
We definitely do. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, every day. Awesome, man.